whole subject of contracts in business in Japan is quite a fascinating area. Hello, my name is Greg Story. I'm the president of Dale Carnegie Training here in Japan and the best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery. I've been doing a few little videos on how to do business in Japan, and I've completed a number over the Golden Week holidays at the Annex in the library. But we're back at work today. We're back in the High Performance Centre, back in a suit and a tie. So back to work, here we go. Well, contracts is interesting because a lot of companies in Japan don't use contracts very much because they prefer to have the understanding between the two companies. And I've always found that Japanese companies see a contract as only useful when it's useful. If you have something written down, but then the situation changes, well, they want to change the deal. And they don't care what's written down in the contract. They want to change the whole arrangement because now the circumstances for them or the market or whatever are different. Where in a Western sense, we're very litigious, we're very legalistic. No. Situations change, doesn't matter. This is the contract. We do this regardless. So I guess it's a bit of a difference in philosophy around what's the point here. From a Japanese company's point of view, they want a long-term relationship, they want a partner, and they think that both sides should be flexible. Now, having said that though, my experience is that if you're a smaller company, you're expected to be a lot more flexible than a bigger company. And so that flexibility is not actually even equal type of relationship. And when it suits a bigger company to say that's the contract, we're going to stick with that, then you choose, You either break the relationship or you put up with it. And there's no shortage of cases here of very large companies who've got subcontractors, and they're very tough on the subcontractors. Not a lot of flexibility there either. So generally speaking, contracts are not worth the paper they're written on in Japan, to be honest, because there's very little cases of companies going to court. It does happen, and they're usually very large companies, usually very, very big deals. For most people who are in the small, medium enterprise area, the contracts are going to be basically what we used to say in the old days, a gentleman's agreement, that we will do the best for you, you'll do the best for us, we shake hands, we agree on it, we haven't bothered to write it all down, and as long as it works for both parties, it works. However, having said that though, when it no longer works for the other side, they will want to change, and that may not be to your benefit. But I'll also say to you, even if you've got it written down, it's a very laborious process to go to court and then try and get a judgment on that. Usually that's not where you want to go because it wastes a lot of time and money. Better to have that flexibility. Now then, you have the case where you're dealing with foreign multinationals here in Japan. They are the ones who like contracts. I got one. It was incredible. I've never seen anything like it. This contract was so detailed and the penalty clauses are unbelievable. And one fascinating clause said, by signing this agreement, if we get into a dispute, I forego the right to take this dispute to court. Huh? Which lawyer wrote that? Now, I was thinking to myself, what are we going to do, send a bunch of guys around to my house with baseball bats or something? If I want to dispute this, we're not going to go to court. How are they going to get the money out of me? Or how are they going to get the restitution? Or how are they going to enforce the things in this contract? Crazy. I signed it anyway because the sorts of things I worried about was never going to be a problem for us. But I thought, what a crazy contract. That's Western legal systems. And I don't know which lawyer wrote that, but that guy should be fired or she should be fired. Terrible. Anyway, the point is in Japan, it's not going to be like that. And in our case, we rarely do contracts with companies. We're a corporate training company. We agree to do the training, we do the training, and we get paid. Japan is rarely the case. You're not going to get paid in Japan. Yes, there are evil people, there are ruthless people, there are corrupt people, there are people who will rip you off everywhere in the world, including Japan. Not a bunch of saints here. Just the chances of that here tend to be a lot less than everywhere else. And in the 10 years I've been in this business, we've never had a case of not being paid. Never. And it may be delayed or things may happen, they miss the payment, but always get paid. So it's not that type of problem, and that's why contracts don't tend to be as much in vogue, I should say, as they are in Western countries. But in some cases, it depends on the size of the company, depends on the amount of zeros in the deal, there will be contracts. And certainly, the Japanese apply the when in Rome rule, except their when in the Rome rule is when in Japan, do it the Japanese way. When outside of Japan, do it the Japanese way too. So they have learnt, though, in dealing with foreign corporates in foreign countries, they have to go the legal route, so they will be used to that. But in Japan, generally speaking, the contract isn't worth the paper it's written on. It's going to be more about your relationship with the buyer and how you want to have a long-term relationship, and you'll be expected to take it. If there's any push comes to shove, you'll get the push and the shove pushing you. That's just how it is with big players or small players here. But generally speaking, it's not going to be as tough as a legalistic situation, but there is that other aspect of you will lose whenever it comes to a power struggle. But it doesn't really, it's rare that it comes to a power struggle. It does happen, but it's rare. So generally speaking, the Japanese are looking for a relationship of trust. You trust them, they trust you, but be aware, if they want to change it, you'll be the one making the changes. Anyway, that's something about contracts in Japan and how to do business in Japan. I hope you've enjoyed these short videos I've been doing on how to do business in Japan, covering a number of areas. Today it was contracts. I hope that was useful.